Senior Report thanks Edmund Besch of Bristol Burgess Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street, Westfield, for his generous grant to provide news to seniors. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding for Senior Report is provided in part by a grant from Andrew Goodell, Assemblyman for the 150th District of the New York State Assembly. Senior Report with Reed Powers thanks Westfield's Schultz Chevy for a generous grant to inform seniors of important news. Over 50 years of service to Westfield by Chevrolet, Schultz Chevy across from the school. The physicians of Jamestown Primary Care are happy to sponsor the Senior Report. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning. Oh, look at that hair. I got to talk to my hair man. What a beautiful day in Chautauqua County. A little bit of snow sifting down, and we have a great guest today. Cathy Young has been good enough to give us her Saturday morning here, and she's going to talk about things going on in the New York State Legislature. And I'll talk about things going on in Congress, which is nothing. I can just move right on to the deer hunting. Deer season is good up here in San. Today's the last day. This is the 7th. I believe it's the last day, anyway, of the regular deer hunting season. And boy, they've been bagging deer like there's no tomorrow. There's a lot of deer up there in them thar hills, and plenty of venison. My son-in-law gave me some wonderful venison sticks, and oh, that summer sausage they make out of it. Oh, well, that's heaven on earth, I'll tell you. Even my cats love it. Okay, guys, lots of things going on in the county besides the deer season. We've got winter fairs and festivals. There's sleigh riding, even at Chautauqua from time to time, I hear. And it's just a terrific time to get out and play in the snow with your kids, if nothing else. It's terrific. And if you're deer hunting, this is the last day. It's good tracking. At least you don't lose your deer. And the ground is light snow on the ground, not much. And it didn't freeze on your car windshield, so praise the Lord. It was easy to brush off today. I wanted to talk about the Obamacare thing that's going on very briefly. It looks like they're trying to torpedo it, as usual, and with a lack of success, I'm afraid. Well, people 50 years have been trying to get the insurance companies out of the game. They cream off 30% of all the health care money. And this is the only country in the world where they do it that way. I mean, come on, guys. Let's shake loose here. Let's give it up. Insure cars again. All right. A lot of senior stuff happening around here. And how was your trip over, Cathy?
It was great.
It was easy enough?
Yes.
Yeah, you come
a little slippery.
Oh, yeah, you come all the way from...
It's about 80 miles.
Where is it, Olean?
Olean.
Yeah, that's quite a run. I went up a hill a couple of days ago, and I didn't realize how slippery it was. And I got to the top of the hill, couldn't crest it. And now what do? You back down 2 miles to the nearest safe driveway where you can pull in and turn around. And the car's going this way and that way, and I'm stopping it and trying to get it going straight again. And oh my gosh. It took me about 2 weeks, I think. It seems that long anyway.
Well, they didn't have to send out the hounds to find you.
Right, well, I never thought I'd get home. Okay, it was cold too. I would have frozen to death in the car. The Holy Trinity Seniors, I've got a little bit of news here. I should tell you, the Holy Trinity is a very active group, believe it or not. And they're having a big banquet December 12th, as are all the senior groups, and I will give them to you as much as possible. And they're doing a home meeting. They're going to have their party at Cathy DeMano's, which is in Dunkirk, I might add. December 12th, 1 p.m., everybody over there, get involved and check in. You want more information, you can call 366-3632. Great Belt Seniors, very active crowd. They meet in the Mason Hall in Fredonia, last I heard, and they're having a reader's theater December 4th, performing a short play written by one of the visitors to their group. They will not meet, incidentally. Don't take this off your calendar in January. First meeting will be the first Wednesday in February of the new year. The knitters, they have a knitters group over there making mittens and knitted hats, which they're donating to the people in need, especially the elderly at the New Beginnings Food Pantry in Amherst. If you want to do some knitting, 672-7771, and they'll put you on the team. Cathy Park is the director of CASA. You know, CASA takes care of little children who need some family court care and foster care. And I want to thank Judge Claire for setting this up a long, long time ago. And she came to talk to us about it not too long ago. Want to find out more, come on over to the center. It's CASA, Chautauqua County, and I believe they meet right here in the old school, but it doesn't say exactly. 10 p.m. for coffee, and if you want more information, incidentally, you can call Cathy Park. She's the director of CASA, Chautauqua County. At 12:15 p.m., the bus for the Seneca Niagara Casino will leave the Big Lots parking lot. Everybody goes to the casino. Don't gamble. Take the money they give you, run it through, and run for your life. It's not too early to sign up for the New York City adventure trip that these guys are going on, the Great Belt Seniors, from June 10th to 12th. Transportation, 2 nights lodging in Manhattan, 2 meals, a Broadway musical, and everything else. If you're interested, 672-5274, and usually they'll take anybody. You know, you don't have to be a member of their crowd. And sometimes they take non-seniors, take kids along. Maybe they want to go. Lakeshore Seniors, Stella Mikulak does the job over there, and she tells us they've got a lot of interesting events on, and I will give you a precis of those. Their helper of the day over there, who provides the coffee, incidentally, it was Irene Christopher, and others assisted. Whoever they are. December 18th, next meeting, Jean Kabira and Sophie Kubasek will be doing the job there. There will be no meeting on December 11th. That's a normal meeting day. Instead, on December 11th, they will have its Christmas party at the Kosciuszko Club. That's over in Dunkirk, New York, 4:30 p.m. If you're not a member, join. Get in on the party. Silver Creek Seniors, Ed Newman does the job there. He opened with the Pledge of Allegiance, as they always do, and of course they all sing "God Bless America," as do most senior groups. They're pretty pretty patriotic. Christmas party for the Silver Creek Seniors, December 17th, at their club rooms. They have a nice little place at the corner of Route 5 and Route 20, roughly, and they just got permission to put a sign up announcing what's there. It's a senior club. Bring a non-perishable food item when you come to the party, will you? And they're going to donate that to the food pantry. And believe it or not, there's people in this county, a lot of them, who are in need, and real need. If they need food, if nothing else. And we have the food pantries all over. And praise the Lord, people kick in some food once in a while, a few bucks, and it helps our neighbors. You might be next, fellow. Especially with unemployment disappearing. On December 10th, they'll have a soup day. They come in, everybody enjoys a soup, brings in a soup, and it's a soupy soup day. Brockton Seniors and Portland Seniors, they are a combined group. And they're having a turkey meal coming up December 16th for their party. And it's going to be held at the St. Stephen's Hotel. You know, that's on the corner. It's been all renovated, they tell me. It's really beautiful there. You got to sign up, though, with Rita. So make sure you do. Bring a $5 wrapped gift. Santa will be there. Or you could bring a $10 one and really surprise people, knock their socks off. Sharon Care Seniors, that's quite a bunch, and they're going to have their season celebration on Wednesday, December 19th, the holiday party, and they're holding it at St. Joseph Church School Hall. They have a big kitchen, a beautiful place. That's at 145 East Main Street in Fredonia, if you don't know where it is. And $8 per person, which is pretty cheap considering what you're getting here. And they're sending a check to Sharon Care Seniors. You can send one there if you're interested. Set it up. More information, 679-4386, Sharon Care. Forestville, up in the beautiful hills. Oh, what scenery up there. They have the Forestville Pioneer Social Club. And Ruth Kuhn did the honors today, or this is the last one. They have a bunch of real nice crowd shows up there. And hello, Gloria Yeager, new members. New members are the lifeblood of your organization. Go after them. Bring somebody over by the elbow. Haul them in. Happy birthday to Norman Stewart over at Forestville Crowd and Betty Kuzura. And tickets for lunch. Marion Zeiker and Bradigan. The seniors have a lunch deal. And if you're more interested in it, call the office of the agent in Mayville. And it's 4471-753. And they will be happy to fill you in on it. You get some real good prices on dinners if you're a senior. Big Christmas party for the Forestville Pioneer Social Club is December 17th at Tom's Family Restaurant in Irving. And they're going to make a donation to their Forestville food pantry, incidentally. God bless everybody out there who's helping out. Let's see, bingo. Bingo was called. I can't remember who called it, but they always call bingo at the end of these things. I got a note from John Patterson. He's a mayor over in Sherman. He's going to be over here next week, tell you more about it. But they're having the Sherman Days, and it's that'll be on the 2nd of August. And it's a big thing. The whole town's involved. It's a huge ceremony and a lot of festivities and activities. And Mayor Patterson has suggested that they're going to sell tickets and raise funds, and half of that money will be going to the procedures so that they can really have a great Sherman Day weekend. And also, they're taking the other half and giving it to an organization that's done a lot of good in our area and that is desperate for funds. They're very low in funding. And that's the Roswell Park Cancer Research Center. And they do a lot of research, and they are saving lives right and left. And while they're doing the research, they're giving people treatments, radiation, the best available, and they need funds. So half of the dough is going to that. So you might consider that for a Christmas card. Buy a couple of tickets for your children or friends and let them know it's a good
Did you know
cause.
he's doing to raise money to sell tickets for it?
Yeah, I didn't mention that, Kathy, because I'm going to let him come in and tell us, but I'll
Okay.
tell him anyway.
All right.
You sprang the trap. He's going to grow a beard, and if it's over
And
10,
his hair.
if it's over 10 inches, and his hair, he's not going to get a haircut. And then they're setting up a big barber chair in the middle of Main Street, and you're buying tickets for the opportunity to shave him. And he's been he was a chem and math teacher over there in or in Sherman for 1,000,000 years, I might add. And all his kids will be there. They'll get a kick out of shaving him, and then they're going to shave his head too, as well as his beard. He's going to be bald and
And then he wants
hairless.
to donate his hair to Locks
Yeah,
of
it's got to be 10 inches long, though.
Right.
He's got to crank out some real masculinity there. They'll make a wig out of it, though. It's at least 10 inches. Maybe they make a 9-inch wig. At any rate, if you're interested, tune in next Saturday. He'll give you the details. Have a public service announcement for you, and then the venerable John Hamels will be on to tell it as it is. Here you go. This is for you, friends.
A diagnosis of breast cancer changes your life forever.
She told me I needed a mastectomy.
I was scared.
Absolutely in shock.
But you need to know that you're not alone. There are teams of medical professionals, support groups, and therapists, and those who can help you plan for life after cancer. Before you undergo surgery for breast cancer, get the facts. Make sure you know your breast reconstruction options. For more information, visit broaddayusa.org.
Okay, here he is. This guy shoots from the hip. And his name is Doc John Hamels. You're on, Doc.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back, Cathy. Hope your stay here is pleasant. Reed's wound up today, I see, as usual. Well, I heard you talking about somebody shaving their beard. Reed, I got to tell you a story. A number of years ago, I think it was about 5 years ago, I was the interim principal, elementary principal at Westfield. And the kids were doing this big promotion about reading, and they wanted me to give them a challenge. So my challenge was if they read, I forgot it was, like 1,800 books. Of course, when you have that many students, it wasn't that big of a deal. But if they met their percentage, whatever it was, that I would have my daughter come, Stephanie, and she'd shave my beard off that I've had for like a zillion years, and in the auditorium in front of them. Well, wouldn't you know it? Not only did they meet it, but they surpassed the goal. And Steph and I were waiting out in the hallway as the kids were filling up the gymnasium, and all we could hear was, "Shave that beard, shave that," and it was just like thunderous. And I got up there and I manned up, and off it came, and my wife freaked right out. She didn't know who I was when I came home.
Did you have enough to make a wig?
No, well, you know, their beards are weird because you can see I've got mine pretty long right now, but after a while, you know, you get that kind of Duck Dynasty look, kind of like stringy, like Cy and them guys. But you know, a beard is a funny thing. I know you had a beard there for a while. We were all kind of bearded here.
I ran out of testosterone.
Okay, well, I got a few things to share. You know, we always tell people to call in and share things. Well, I have something to share today. Show and tell. You're not. Bill and I, as you know, we play out. Watch this. This is going to come up right now.
We think.
We think. There it is. March 14th, an evening with me and Bill at the 1891 Fredonia Opera House. We are the show. It's a St. Patrick's Day program, and they contracted us to play for the evening. And there's going to be some dancers from Irish dancers, a group up there from Buffalo that's going to be dancing on the break, and then I guess we're going to do a big finale together. I'm not dancing, though. I want to go on record. No dancing. I will definitely hurt myself. If you've ever seen Irish dancers kick, they can touch their nose with their big toe.
And also,
incredible.
They never move their hands
Never,
from their
ever,
side of
no,
their
no.
hips.
It's like
They
they're
keep
glued to their
hands there.
sides. It's
Yeah.
a spectacular thing. So anyways, great Christmas present for anybody to get tickets for that show. I'm just overwhelmed by that. It's just so cool. Okay, by way of another announcement, a local celebrity I want to talk about, and you're going to see this in the paper if you already haven't. Do you know Kent Knappenberger?
Of course.
Of course.
He plays all kinds of harps and musical
Absolutely.
instruments.
Well, this is
He's a genius.
This is my. Yeah, this
and
is my.
He's like the Pied Piper. All the kids love him.
Right, I'll get to it. This is my 30 seconds of thank you, Kent Knappenberger. Not only does he have a spectacular beard, that's who I thought you were talking about. That's why I asked you who you were talking about. Kent has a beard that you could make a sweater out of. If you ever see his picture, it's way down here. He's won a couple of competitions, but that's not what I want to talk to you about. Kent just was named one of the top 10, not 100, 1 out of 10 top music educators of the year across the United States. So he's in the he's in the elite of the elite. And if you folks have not had the opportunity to see some of his work is his students, really, over the years, many years. He's got the Firecracker group, which is an all-girl group, the West Winds, which is a male and female chorus, and then the Eight Men, which is all guys. They put on all kinds of musicals throughout the year. And Kent and I, we seem to cross paths throughout the year, whether it's at an open mic or we do the folk festival up at the Opera House with the Gilmans each year. You'll just see him showing up. And Kent's the kind of guy that is just like you say, he's a genius, and he just pulls out some instrument. I don't care what it is. I watched, he played bass fiddle with me one day while I was playing guitar. I didn't know he could play bass. Or he'll jump on the drums or whatever. So he's just multi-talented, but what a great honor. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Ken Appenberg, congratulations. I don't know if there's further competition, but being in the top 10 of anything is just awesome.
Especially nationwide.
Nationwide.
Yeah.
So, and then my final thought for today is this. When I watched the news yesterday, like everybody else, we recognized the fact that Nelson Mandela had passed away. And I watched the outpouring of crying and love for the man. And you know, Reed, I'll challenge you to think about this for a second here. I couldn't think of one person in our country today that if they passed away, we would weep as that country is weeping for Mandela. Can you think of anybody?
George Bush, maybe?
Which one?
There's only one. Okay.
Well, anyways, it just was very moving for me to watch that, and I know there's going to be more of that. But you know, heartfelt sympathies to all those folks down there, but all the accomplishments that he did for the world, not just his own country. And boy, if you want to emanate somebody, I would put him right up there with the top 10 in the world. So that's my 2 cents. Back to you, Reed.
Thank you, John. John Hamill's doing the job. Yeah. We have with us a wonderful guest. She's been with us how many years? You were in the legislature when you were here first, I think. Way back when, anyway.
I've been coming since at least 2005.
At least, yeah. Seems like it's been forever. It's wonderful to have you here again, and I certainly appreciate you taking the time to come over for Chautauqua County, for the folks here. And I know you're doing the best job that anybody ever has as a state senator. I know that you are have given more money, brought more money here through one device or another, including just recently 50,000 or 100,000 or something for the lake. Lots of dough, anyway. Mm-hmm. And it's just great to have you here. Your legislative skills are appreciated, but also the fact that we are at this point, we're one of the let's say, poorest counties in the state, and we certainly appreciate any infusion of funding, and it's just wonderful we're getting it.
Well, thank you very much, Reed, and I'm so happy to be here. You know, usually we get together right before Thanksgiving, and that's my fault this year. My schedule was so busy that I couldn't get here before Thanksgiving because Reed and I have this tradition of talking about him cooking a turkey. And all of his secrets as far as how he cooks a turkey. And I always hear how fabulous it turns out also. Now, I have another question. Have you been deer hunting this year?
Actually, Cathy, a few years ago, when I realized that if I were to try to drag a 200-pound deer half a mile or something back to camp, I would probably expire about halfway with a heart attack.
Well, we don't want that.
So I decided no more. I turned it over to my children, and they're out there. They bring home deer. They bring home venison, and
that's great.
Also, I have this Bambi vision. I won't get into that, but
the tickle in my throat.
The deer hunting is wonderful up here, and Chautauqua County is noted for the fantastic deer, and people come from all around.
They do, and I think it's a great thing just from the standpoint that I've gotten 3 deer the hard way with my car.
Well,
so that's never a fun thing.
Well, you realize that the insurance companies are the ones who are insisting on longer deer seasons, more doe seasons, and
them and the farmers, really, because they do a lot of crop damage too.
Do.
But you know, but I want to tell you about something that I did yesterday that was really a lot of fun. I went over to St. Columban's, and the sisters and the staff do a fabulous job. But I was there to celebrate the 105th birthday for Sam Weber. And he's a World War II veteran. He's a fantastic, fantastic person. And it's very encouraging because this is the second birthday party for someone turning 105 that I've been to just this year alone. So it's really an incredible thing. But Sam's real name is Raymond. He got the name Sam while he was a butcher at the A&P. But he actually was 36 years old and had served his country already for quite a while in the cavalry, believe it or not. But his favorite brother-in-law was shot down in a plane in France by the Germans. And so in 1944, he voluntarily enlisted to serve our country active duty, went and fought the war, And so he's a hero too. But talk about sharp and talk about being such a great American. It really was wonderful to see him.
Well, it's nice to see that people are living that long in Chautauqua County. It's fantastic.
It is. You know, my friend Gertrude Ortlieb from Dunkirk, she turned 101 this year.
Oh, my goodness.
She was an accountant just until about a year or so ago. And I think that's key to it. You know, if you can stay busy and you can stay active, I think it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, especially if you're an accountant, which requires real activity. I mean, it's not something easily done. When I'm 101, that'll be the day, as they say. The old
I'll be at your party.
the old saw is, if I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. Okay, we got Cathy Young with us, and we're going to open the phones in about 5 minutes. If you want to call in any time, you can ask her a question directly, and she'll be here to answer it. 753-5225, and she'll give you an honest answer, which is all-encompassing. 753-5225. The phones will be open shortly, and you may talk personally to our state senator, Cathy Young, and ask her any questions you may have. Well, so what's going on over there in the Senate? Anything? I mean, the state Senate, of course.
Well, I do have something today that I'm working on, and that's a rally that we're having on the pier in Dunkirk. And that's in support of repowering the NRG power plant. And I'm sure you've heard about this issue, but
Not only have I heard about it, I noticed the fact that the average, if we don't get some kind of assistance, the average tax will jump, household tax will jump $1,000 a house.
That's right. And
That's
you
scary.
think about seniors on fixed incomes, for example, or people working hard to make ends meet, can't afford it. So we've been working hard. And I have to tell you, the Public Service Commission and the governor are making the decision on this project. And last July, it was July 15th, first day of the heat wave. Remember, we had that 8-day heat wave, but I had convinced the Public Service Commission to come to Dunkirk so that the people who live here would have the opportunity to tell the Public Service Commission directly what this meant to them, what the impact was. And so the Public Service Commission came out. We had 2,200 people show up to that hearing. It shattered every record in New York State. I was talking to some of the commissioners from the Public Service Commission afterward. They said they'd never seen anything like it, that so many people showed up. And I was just so incredibly proud of my community and people who get involved, want to make their voices heard, and it was phenomenal. So we're still working on the process. I think that the decision will probably be made very shortly about what to do about the NRG power plant. But you know, it's devastating for the schools, for the taxpayers, for the city. It's 42%, for example, of the city's budget if the tax pilot payment goes away and NRG closes down. So here's a very positive way to have a cleaner environment, cleaner air to breathe by converting to natural gas, keeping power production in Western New York. And you know, if we're ever going to be growing our economy again, and especially making things, that's what we need to do in America, is make things again, manufacturing.
Instead of just buying them all from China, right?
Exactly. We need to get people back to work, and the way that you do that is we go back to our tradition, our strength that made this country so strong, and that's manufacturing. And we're working very hard to regrow manufacturing in New York State. But if you don't have a power source, if you can't make your own energy and you're not energy independent, it's very difficult, because right now what we're looking at is the possibility of putting our power plant out of business and the utilities actually importing power from a dirty coal plant in Pennsylvania. Now that doesn't make sense to me, because you lose your jobs, you lose your tax base, you have imported power. I mean, what does it solve? And from a dirty coal plant that actually is sending acid rain our way in New York State. So we're going to be on the pier again today. We're going to be from...
What time would that be?
That's at 11. And so I have to scoot out of here as soon as we're done to get to Dunkirk. But I would encourage people that if you can show up, please show up. Have your voice heard. You know what's so interesting to me is that we're so far away from the power centers of the state. Albany, New York City, we're as far away as you can get. And oftentimes I hear from other assembly members or senators, you know, this is a true story. After I was first elected to the assembly in 1999, I was talking to two assemblymen in the chamber from the Bronx. And one of them said to me, "You're from where?" And so I was very proud. I pulled myself up and I said, "Wow, I'm from the southern tier of Western New York." And one of them looked at me, Reed, and he says, "Oh, you're from Binghamton." And I said, "No, keep going west." And the other said, "Oh, you're from Corning." And I said, "No, keep going west."
You're closing in on it now.
Yeah, exactly. And one of them actually said to me, he was incredulous. He said, "There's more to New York State after Corning." Like he couldn't believe it, didn't even know. And the other one said, "Oh, you're from Ohio." And I said, "Well, just about, I suppose." But, you know, it just shows that a lot of my colleagues from downstate don't have a clue about where we're at. So it's important, because we're as important as any other region in the state. Every single individual in my district is as important as every other person in the state. And we need to make sure that our needs are met, that our voices are heard, you know, and that our communities are strong. And this is a way, if you show up at the rally, to really tell Albany that they need to pay attention to us too.
Okay, if you got a few minutes even, get down to the pier in Dunkirk.
Wear your woolens.
It's 12:07, and they'll let you warm up in the hotel, in the big center there, as I recall.
That's right, at the Clarion.
Clarion Center. This is 12/7, 2013. Don't go down next Saturday.
No, this Saturday.
This Saturday. Today at 11 a.m. Drop by, lend your body, your soul, and your mind to the support of this repowering center. If you don't repower Dunkirk, believe me, you're going to find out what taxation really is. And we're already the highest taxed county in the United States, according to a number of the statisticians.
Well,
So
that's what we have to do, is
God
make
help
it
you.
more affordable to live and work and do business here. And that's really
Right.
what I've been focused on. But this impacts not just the people who live in Dunkirk. And as I said, it really hurts the school, it hurts the city government. But it hurts every single Chautauqua County property taxpayer, because NRG is the largest property taxpayer in the county. And so if you pull that revenue stream out from the county's coffers, what happens is that they pass that along to everybody else. And so you might say, well, this is Dunkirk's problem, I don't care. First of all, I think as a region we should all care about every community and our neighbors. But at the same time, this impacts you if you own a house in Chautauqua County or a business and you have to pay property taxes. So that's why we need to get everybody together. But I have to say that I am just so proud. When the Public Service Commission said to me, well, you shattered every record, I said, well, I'm not surprised, because I'm lucky enough to represent the best part of New York State, and I honestly believe that.
Okay. Did you get your deer?
With my car, no. Let's knock on wood. I don't need
knock
another
on
one.
wood. Yeah, that's one of the great things about this area, is the hunting and the fishing and the streams and the rivers and all the lakes and everything. How can you go wrong, you know?
Yep.
This is as the French said when they came through, this is the Garden of Eden.
It
And
is.
it sure
We're
is.
so lucky.
Cathy Young, our New York State Senator, representing us ably in the New York State Senate, talking about the repower program, and get down there at 12, that's today, 12/7, and lend your support. 11 o'clock, and you can go into the Clarion there and get warmed up.
Get warmed up.
Yeah.
And we won't be there that long,
Yeah.
just because of the weather. It's too cold to be outside for
Right.
too long.
Yeah, you won't be sweating it the way the commission did last July, right?
Right, exactly.
With 2,000 people in the same room, my God help us. They found out what the lack of power is all about.
Yeah, they did. You know, it was interesting that night. The lights were actually flickering in the auditorium, and I think it's because of the heat wave, the strain on the power
Oh,
system.
yeah, the air conditioners and the heat. A lot of people use it for heat up here.
They do.
Yeah. Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning, Reed. And
What's
good
up?
morning, Senator Young.
Good morning.
I have a question for the senator. Let's start a rumor. If Cuomo has aspirations of becoming something in Washington, what are the chances that we'll see posters that say vote for Cathy Young for governor?
Oh, that's quite a rumor.
Let's start it.
Let's start it. Well, thank you. You're very kind to say that. You know, I love being a senator. I think that I can have quite an impact on my district, and I'm closer, even though I represent 300,000 people. And, you know, a lot of my colleagues, their Senate districts are just a few city blocks in Manhattan. Mine is 3,800 square miles. But I love being a senator because I can be in touch with people. There actually are 19 million people in the state, and so I would try if I were governor to know every single one, but thank you for your confidence in me. That really means a
Well,
lot.
caller, you have the right idea. I got it straight from the inside that Governor Cuomo, who just passed an insane gun control law against us, meaning you can't even buy ammunition in the state without going through the background check, which you got to pay for.
Right.
It's insanity. And he took away all the guns from everybody that they've had for many years and made felons out of the people that keep them, and most of them have kept them, I might add. So now, after felonizing everybody and making it impossible to buy guns and ammunition in New York almost, Cuomo has about the same chance of being elected anything, including dog catcher, upstate New York, I can guarantee you, as a snowball's chance in hell. So you might send that back to him.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you,
very much. Thank you. You know, what's interesting, Reed, I went to speak to all the students at Pine Valley School yesterday, and so they had the entire auditorium filled with the students. It was kids in grades 9 through 12. So, I don't know, 150, 200 kids. And I said, after I gave a presentation about state government, I said, so if you had a law that you wanted to introduce, or you had an idea, or do you have a question for me? And one of the students stood up and said, what do you think about the SAFE Act? And I said, well, I voted no, and I sponsor legislation to repeal it. These kids stood up and gave me a standing ovation. It was very interesting because I think they understand that this is a real intrusion, infringement on their rights, and it's really hurt law-abiding people and really hasn't done much to deal with crime.
Yeah, well, it was unconstitutional the way it was passed, and secondly, it's unconstitutional anyway. We got a couple of callers. Want to take
Okay,
the call?
yes.
I'd still like to talk about that SAFE Act. But anyway, you see the number of signs around up here.
I do.
Mean,
It's
$20
not
a
going
pop
away.
they're paying for those, or at least 10 if they get them on discount.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter. They're sprouting like mushrooms in the summer. Caller, good morning. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning. I'm wondering how Cathy feels specifically about the Common Core and the whole education thing and how New York State's implementing it.
Yeah, we had the
and if you could
commissioner
just
up
talk
there.
about that.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you for that question
Common
because I
Core,
think it's a
right?
very important question.
Now,
Common Core.
What is this?
Well, this is a program that is dictating higher standards for our students, which I think it is good to have high educational standards for our students. But at the same time, I think it's our responsibility in New York State to make sure that our children are educated and are able to be successful in life. Not everybody's going to be, you know, a rocket scientist, I guess, for lack of a better term, but, you know, we need people in all kinds of trades, all kinds of occupations, and we want our young people to have career opportunities right here so that they can stay after they graduate. And our largest export right now, unfortunately, is our young people. So we need high standards. We need to have trades being taught in the schools. We need to have a whole array of different things. What is really not good about what happened with Common Core is that, number one, I'm not sure that the program was really thought through, and it wasn't ready for prime time. So they put it into place before the system was even ready, and that's caused all kinds of disruption. There's too much testing going on. The kids actually need to have time where they can learn instead of always worrying about being tested. And then there's another component of it that really, really is disturbing to me, and that has to do with this component called In Bloom, where they're taking all of this very highly personal information about every student and they're turning it over to a third party. And it's not clear what they're going to be doing with that data mining, all that information. And I think there's a real intrusion in our lives right now where we're having a lack of privacy because of technologies and some other issues. And I don't think that this In Bloom piece is necessary at all. And as a matter of fact, every other state in the country has discarded the In Bloom component except for New York State.
Now? In Bloom?
In Bloom. So it's I-N, then capital B-L-O-O-M. And funding came from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. but they're collecting very personal information on every student that's never been collected before and turning it over to a third party.
Look at
And-
Facebook.
Right.
Today, yesterday, it just got broken into and all the passwords stolen.
Right.
I mean,
It's
the
crazy.
information is there. They can hack it easily now, and if they're going to put the information there, they're setting them up.
Well, it's very alarming to me. So, long story short, I think that there needs to be some changes made to the Common Core program. And so the commissioner, I give him credit for coming out. He was here this week. I think he has gotten less than a positive response.
Commissioner of Education.
Commissioner of Education, Commissioner King. And he's gotten less than a positive response statewide. He's been all over and
Oh, they're booing him, hooting
Right,
at him,
I think
and
that-
throwing shoes at him.
I know, I think, and I'm not surprised, the people of Chautauqua County were much more polite to the commissioner than maybe some other parts of the state. But the point is that we need our students to learn and have the best quality education possible, and we have to continue to strive in that direction, but I think there needs to be some changes to the Common Core program.
You had mentioned Bill Gates funding. The state passes all kinds of pronouncements, especially in the field of education. No child held back and all that stuff, which then they say, we'll fund it, but they don't. Now here you're stuck,
Right.
this little community up here is stuck with a huge tax increase for schools. How about this one? Has this been funded properly?
Well, I don't believe so, and one of the things, we hear a lot on the state level about unfunded mandates, but at the same time, we get unfunded mandates on the state from the federal government, so it just keeps getting passed along. The federal government has put a lot of education mandates on states, but never properly funded them. So for example, if you've ever heard of something called Title I, which is mandatory special education, which I do believe that we should educate our special ed students, of course. But the federal government makes all these mandates but does not give the states money to do it. And so then the states and the property taxpayers have to pay for those services. So, as I said, we need to make sure that we have quality education in the state, and that's something that I'm very focused on. Actually, the poorer the school districts, the way that the funding is structured now, the poorer the school districts, the more they get per pupil from the state. And we need to continue to make sure that our more rural districts get the funding that they need for our students.
It still doesn't work. The rich get richer. Apparently the rich districts still do very well, and the poor districts are still left a little bit back, I'm afraid. But that's neither here nor there. We got a couple of calls. We better start answering some calls.
We
here.
should.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Well, good morning. This is Linda Spalding.
Well, hi, Linda.
Oh, I was hoping you would call, Linda.
Oh, I always call when you're on. Well, it's so great to see you, Senator Cathy, on the show.
Well, thank you. And I think the last time I saw you, you were teaching computer classes to seniors.
Yes, and I have to thank you once again. Cathy has given us so much support for our senior employment program and our computer training program. And she comes to every one of our graduations, and if she's not able to come, and she usually is, she'll send one of her representatives. And it gives such encouragement. And then we get a beautiful picture with Cathy and the graduates from the computer class. I have to also say that since you came to our first graduation at the Fredonia Senior Citizen Center a few years ago, we have trained 1,000 people.
Oh my gosh, isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm very proud of. And we're looking to opening 2 more sites. We're looking to open one in Gowanda at the Dunkirk Free Library and one possibly in Sinclairville. So we're looking at 2 more sites to expand.
That's fantastic. And, I'll tell you, it really is wonderful for seniors to be able to learn how to use computers, the internet, that sort of thing. It just opens up a whole array of new opportunities for them also. And it's exciting for them. But, I remember the first time I got on a computer, I thought it was daunting. And so the fact that you're able to ease people into it, get them comfortable, I think is phenomenal. And one of the things I'm working on is getting broadband access to rural areas across the state. But our libraries still are great places where people can go, use computers, use the internet, of course check out books. And take part in cultural activities, and it's great that you have a presence in so many places across my Senate district.
It's great you mentioned the broadband
I'm really thrilled with
opportunities.
what's happening. And it's an ideal situation for the seniors because they're not threatened with a classroom setting where they have to keep up with other students or keep up with the teacher. They actually work at their own pace on this special program with a peer coach that is in their own age group, a peer coach there, guiding them and answering questions and assisting them all through the
Linda,
way.
I have to ask a question. How do you sneak a computer in on them? First thing, you got to get the computer there. My aunt says, I don't want one of them things in my house, and that's it. What do you do?
Well, first, I think you expose them to the Internet. And once they're on the Internet, they're hooked.
How do you do that without getting the computer in their house?
Well, I don't think you should get a computer in first. Maybe take them to the library or some other place
In
where
other
they
words,
have
you
use.
take them to using computers in use.
And once they get acclimated and they decide that they're really going to enjoy it, then get to the computer if they want it. But there's so many places where you can use a computer. You don't even have to invest in one if you don't want to.
That's right. Not just the library, but they have whole stores for where you go in and use a computer.
Yes. And a
it's-
lot of times agencies and government entities have sales and auctions where you can really get a nice one for quite reasonably.
Right, and you can't go wrong with grandchildren.
No.
They all have a computer.
Linda, if there are people out there who are interested in learning from you, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, they should call the Office for the Aging in Mayville.
Do you have a number?
Yes, the number is 753-4471. And then I will refer them on to Betty Kroll or call the peer coach directly to get them signed up for the class.
And they'll be able to use the computer for mail with their kids or to look up information or keep their records or whatever, just from this?
It's a wonderful experience. I can remember when I first got on the computer, it was like opening a worldwide encyclopedia. And the first thing I printed was a beautiful painting of the Mona Lisa, a picture of the Mona Lisa from the Louvre in Paris. I couldn't believe that I was able to do that.
Was it still there? It seems to move around occasionally. Okay, well, thank you. Now, give us a number again if somebody wants to get into your program for computer training.
It's 753-4471, and on the board also Dunkirk toll-free 363-4471. There are other services too with the Office for Aging, and I want to say a very warm and large thank you to the staff at Channel 5. You have done so many wonderful things for our community. It's a privilege having you, and thank you.
We're giving back what you've turned over. I mean, you've done some wonderful things for us here.
Linda, you do a great job, and I just want to wish you and your family Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you. I wish you a Merry Christmas, too.
Thank you.
And I also follow suit.
Have a great weekend, and good luck today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
I'm sure she'll be over at the rally. She's very active.
She's very active, yeah.
I recently saw her at the funeral of a friend, and I didn't know she even knew her, but she was there. She just gets
She's
out for
very in
everything,
touch,
you know?
I know. Yes, she is.
Lives over in Chautauqua, and boy, she had a husband who was a real character, a terrific guy, Doug Spalding, and he had 2 dogs. He trained them to play the piano. She's got 2
They're
more
smarter
now.
than I am, then. I took lessons until 7th grade.
Oh my God, I never got a lesson, but I somehow taught myself to play a little bit. I could play 2 pieces, Rachmaninoff's concerto, which is bum, 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 bum. Everybody loves it. It's so impressive. And I could only do a few passages of it. I didn't learn the whole thing. And then, of course, the Moonlight Sonata. Everybody knows that.
Oh, yes.
Cathy Young, talking about everything and anything, including piano. Cathy, we're running down on time, so I still wanted to get into a couple of other items.
Sure.
Incidentally, I didn't want to, I guess I should bring up anyway. The New York State Chamber of Commerce is a bunch of rats. They have literally come out against repowering the energy. What's the matter with these people?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure,
I
because
thought maybe you
actually,
know. I
the
wanted to ask you.
repowering project is better for the ratepayers. It actually would provide more efficient energy. But I think it's whether you're on the side of utilities, I guess, or the power generators. And it shouldn't be one side or the other, but unfortunately in our case with NRG, it's turned into that. So utility companies, the more transmission lines that they build, and they want to build them into Pennsylvania, the more profit they make from the ratepayers.
Yeah, of course, they got one already in Canada. That's the next chatter.
But on the transmission, what they do is they can make a rate of return on their investment of 9.3% every single year for about 30 or 40 years.
So it pays back.
Right, but they make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah.
That's a big profit. So I think that, I think that's what's behind this, unfortunately, but it's my goal to do what I believe is best for my community, and what's best for my community, the ratepayers, the taxpayers, people who need jobs, the school, the city, everybody, is to repower Dunkirk.
We have to have energy come through. Change them over to gas and get cranking again.
Right.
We have a rally again, and I wanted to mention that rally before we go off the air. When is it and what is it?
It's 11 o'clock today, so it's not that far away. So I'll be scooting over there as soon as I leave the studio today. But it's 11 o'clock at the Dunkirk Pier on Central Avenue. And if you want it, there's a website that you can see on the TV right now. That's www.powerupwny.org. So, but if you go to that website, you can actually you can just push a button. It takes about 10 seconds, excuse me. But you can actually send a letter directly to Governor Cuomo and the Public Service Commission expressing your support for repowering the Dunkirk plant. So I would encourage people to go to that website.
I rewrote the letter, and strange enough, they give you a nice letter, but they don't say, well, write your own, it's even better.
Right.
They don't do
but
that.
At this point,
but I always do, I write my own.
Well, I think that's good too. And you know what, though, because the Public Service Commission is probably going to be deciding this December 19th at their meeting. We're kind of running out of time, so we wanted to have a very easy way for people to weigh in again.
And as for most, as with most governmental setups, they don't read your letter anyway. They go into the circular file, and so it doesn't matter what kind. They just count the letters. They say we got so many letters.
Well, I think you know what, though, I think it does make an impact when you get thousands of letters.
Sure it does. Count. We got a phone call. Okay. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
What's up?
I can't help but wonder where all the natural gas would come from that we would use to refire the plant, and if that would automatically lead to fracking, whether we're comfortable with that or not.
That's a question that I get quite often, and actually there are ample gas supplies in the country right now. Even though New York State is not exploring the Marcellus Shale, there are other states that are going great guns, for example, in Pennsylvania. And so there's so much natural gas around right now. It's actually brought the price way down because of the laws of supply and demand. And there's a huge supply. Right, huge supply of it. It's one of the cleanest fuel sources out there. And so I don't believe that the two are linked together. In fact, I know that they're not. So if we repower the NRG plant with the natural gas, it's not going to lead to fracking. And I do get that question, so it's a good question, and I appreciate you bringing it forward.
Well, you're in Albany. How's the fracking going to go? The governor's the one who decides,
Well, the governor decides on that, and it's been quite a drawn-out process now. So.
Well, thank you. I'm glad I asked the question. I felt hesitant at first, and that's a very nice answer to hear.
Well, thank you, caller.
And I hope you have happy holidays.
And you also.
Right, and thanks for that lovely call. And keep calling. Yeah, the fracking thing that's a whole nother game. We're not going to get into that. But
yeah, I don't think we have time. We have under 6 minutes now.
Yeah, it'd be a half-hour program in itself, wouldn't it, about fracking? Those mother frackers.
Now, you brought up the taxes. I did want to touch on that. In the Senate, we've actually had hearings. We ended session the end of June, as we always do. It's a 6-month session, and then we spend the other 6 months working on issues in our districts or doing hearings across the state. And the Senate did hearings across the state, getting together all the different groups to talk about how we can make it more affordable to live and work and do business in New York State, and what we can do as far as tax relief. The good thing is the governor is, you may have heard him, is talking about tax relief this year, so that's a relief to me because that's absolutely what our taxpayers need. They're overburdened, as you pointed out, and actually it has a drag in our economy because our taxes are too high. So we came up with an entire package, and there are many things in there that I think seniors would like too. For example, there's an incentive in New York State right now for retired state workers to not have their pensions taxed. Did you know that?
Well, I know the teachers don't.
Right. But that's not for everybody. That's not across the board. We're putting in legislation that would actually not tax anybody's pension. Because, you know, seniors don't have a lot of money. And actually what we're doing by taxing people's pensions is incentivizing them to move out of New York State.
And we're also double taxing them because they've already paid the taxes that they earned to go into their pensions.
Exactly.
And they shouldn't be taxed again.
Exactly. But then if you have seniors who have more expendable income, they can go out and spend it and you still get, you know, the revenues flowing in the communities that way. But really that's just one tip of the iceberg of this entire slew of tax relief initiatives that we will be putting forward. We start session in early January, and of course the first order of business will probably be a primary focus on the state budget and getting that done, but we're really hoping we can get some more tax relief accomplished this year, and it's encouraging to hear the governor be talking about that.
Yeah, well, we always, it's funny, as a politician, you would know this. Politicians are very quick to jump up and say, I'm for tax relief and I'm against taxes and so forth, but the taxes keep going up.
That's right.
It's incredible, you know?
It is.
And if the taxes go down a little bit, the fees go up.
Well, you know, people say, well, fees are different. I consider fees to be taxes. And,
sure they are. They're just
you know, we're
form.
working hard. One of the things that, you know, when we lost the majority in the Senate in 2009 and 10, you lost that balance between upstate and downstate, and they raised taxes by $14 billion. And just one was they raised people's utility taxes by 500%.
My God.
It's
well, they weren't
incredible.
anything on oil. They jumped that up, I know.
I know, but the 18A tax is a tax that if you look at your utility bills, your heating bill, your phone bill, whatever, that tax is on there. And so one of the pushes that we have, and we're phasing it out now, is to get rid of that 500% tax increase on your utilities. So we're working hard to try to reduce all of those burdensome
Reduce the tax.
I think that means I'm
Cathy,
being kicked off the stage.
We're getting kicked off. I want to give you 30 seconds on uninterrupted, okay?
Okay. Well, I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm very happy that Channel 5 and Reed and all the staff work so hard to bring this information to the seniors. And it's always a lot of fun for me to be here, always exciting. But I just want to say to all of the viewers today that I think you know this, but I like to be very accessible to the people in my district. I'll be sending out a questionnaire soon about some items that I believe will be coming up during the legislative session that starts shortly. And I would encourage people, if you get one of those questionnaires from me, please fill it out and send it back. I always get a great response, but I can't represent you unless I know what's on your mind. And it means a lot to me to hear from you.
Okay.
So let me know.
I look forward to your questionnaire. Well, thank you, Cathy. And you come back soon?
I shall.
Well, great. That'll be terrific. I'm sure there'll be some changes that we can talk about. I want to thank those special people who've done such a great thing, and that is Chuck Kelsey, Devin Taylor, Chris Burt, Randy Burt, among others, and Chris Ramaker, Jeff Zook, Don Zenz, and John Hamels, last but not least. I want to thank Cathy Young for joining us, and I want to wish everybody a wonderful, wonderful holiday season, whatever it may be, and may all that is proud and true and noble, may that abide with you. I'm Reed Powers.